If a woman greets you like this, she's crazy about you. Psychology tricks. Listen closely, because many men miss this completely. When a woman greets you warmly, most men immediately assume she is just being nice, just being polite, nothing more. They brush it off. They downplay it. Meanwhile, the real signal is happening right in front of their eyes. The moment she sees you, her face brightens. Her energy shifts. She says your name in a slightly different tone, and something inside you notices it for a split second. But then logic jumps in and tells you, she probably treats everyone like that. But here's the truth, most of the time, she doesn't. Other people around you often notice it before you do. They see the way she reacts to you and quietly wonder what it is about you that triggers that spark. As the writer Anais Nin once said, we don't see things as they are, we see them as we are. And many men see friendliness where there is actually attraction trying to reveal itself. Now here is the fascinating part. There is a specific style of greeting a woman gives when you have been on her mind even when you weren't there. It may seem subtle, even strange at first, but once you recognize it, you will never miss it again. Sadly, thousands of men experience this signal every week and completely misunderstand it. They stay passive, assume nothing is there, and slowly drift into the friend zone while another man, the one who understands these clues, steps in and captures her attention. That is why awareness matters. A greeting is not just a hello. It is the very first emotional contact between two people. In the first 2 or 3 seconds, before her mind has time to control her reactions, her true feelings often slip out through her body language, her voice, and the way her eyes react when they meet yours. Psychologists call this emotional leakage, the brief moment when genuine emotion escapes before it can be hidden. And when you learn to recognize that moment, you begin to see attraction in a completely different way. In the next part, we will break down that powerful greeting, along with 4 other behaviors that quietly reveal when a woman is truly crazy about you. 1. She says your name. One of the most powerful signals often hides inside something very simple. She says your name when she greets you. Not just a casual hi tossed into the air, but something more personal. Hey, Daniel. Oh, wow, Alex. Good to see you. Notice the difference. Your name lands in the greeting like it actually matters. That is not random. In female psychology, names carry emotional weight. When a woman uses your name the moment she sees you, it usually means it has already been in her thoughts. Think about it carefully. People rarely say a name automatically unless that person is already on their mind. This is one of those subtle psychology tricks that reveals attention and interest without a single dramatic gesture. Imagine she walks into a room full of people and casually says, "Hey everyone." That is the general greeting. But then her eyes find you, and suddenly she adds your name directly. "Hey, Michael." That small shift matters more than most men realize. It shows focus. It shows you stand out in her awareness. In female psychology, attention is currency. A woman does not spend that currency without reason. Your name appearing naturally in her greeting often means she noticed you before you even spoke. It means your presence triggered recognition, memory, and emotion all at once. And that is exactly how attraction often begins. Many men searching for answers about how to fall in love overlook these quiet signals. They wait for dramatic confessions, big compliments, or obvious flirting. But attraction usually reveals itself through small behaviors repeated consistently. Saying your name is one of them. It shows familiarity. It shows comfort. And sometimes it shows excitement. Think about your own life. When someone important walks into the room, you don't just greet the crowd. Your attention sharpens. You address them directly. That is the same principle at work here. These are the kinds of psychology tricks that quietly expose emotional investment. But here is the part many men misunderstand, and this is critical. Seeing the signal is only half the story. The other half is how you respond. Do not rush. Do not suddenly lean forward like you just discovered treasure. That reaction breaks the natural rhythm of attraction. Female psychology is highly sensitive to emotional pressure. The moment a man becomes overly eager, the balance shifts. Interest can fade quickly. That is why calm confidence is essential. When she greets you using your name, respond warmly but stay grounded. Smile. Acknowledge her. Continue the conversation naturally. Do not treat the moment like proof that she belongs to you now. That is not how attraction grows. A man who understands psychology tricks knows the power of restraint. Be steady. Be composed. Let her continue investing her attention. If she consistently greets you by name, remembers small details about you, or lights up when she sees you, those patterns matter. Attraction often builds through repeated signals, not one single event. And the smartest men observe patterns before they act. This is where many men fail when learning how to fall in love in a healthy way. They see one sign and immediately chase certainty. They ask too many questions. They demand clarity too soon. Do not do that. Attraction thrives in space, curiosity, and emotional balance. Be the man who stays relaxed in the moment. That energy is magnetic. In fact, many of the most effective psychology tricks are not tricks at all. They are simply behaviors rooted in emotional control and self-respect. When you show that you enjoy the interaction but do not depend on it, you create intrigue. When you stay calm instead of chasing validation, you become more attractive naturally. That is why your reaction matters as much as her signal. If she greets you with your name and a bright expression, appreciate it quietly. Respond with warmth. Then return to your purpose, your conversation, your life. That balance is powerful. Female psychology is deeply responsive to men who remain steady and self-assured. A man who appears centered signals security, maturity, and confidence without needing to announce it. Remember this simple truth. Attraction grows strongest when it feels natural, not forced. If she keeps saying your name, greeting you with energy, and focusing her attention on you, those are strong signs worth noticing. But do not rush the story. Let time reveal the full picture. Observe the pattern. Stay calm. Stay confident. That is how real connection develops, and that is often the quiet beginning of how to fall in love in a way that feels effortless for both people. 1. She says your name. One of the most powerful signals often hides inside something very simple. She says your name when she greets you. Not just a casual hi tossed into the air, but something more personal. Hey, Daniel. Oh, wow, Alex. Good to see you. Notice the difference. Your name lands in the greeting like it actually matters. That is not random. In female psychology, names carry emotional weight. When a woman uses your name the moment she sees you, it usually means it has already been in her thoughts. Think about it carefully. People rarely say a name automatically unless that person is already on their mind. This is one of those subtle psychology tricks that reveals attention and interest without a single dramatic gesture. Imagine she walks into a room full of people and casually says, "Hey, everyone." That is the general greeting. But then her eyes find you, and suddenly she adds your name directly. "Hey, Michael." That small shift matters more than most men realize. It shows focus. It shows you stand out in her awareness. In female psychology, attention is currency. A woman does not spend that currency without reason. Your name appearing naturally in her greeting often means she noticed you before you even spoke. It means your presence triggered recognition, memory, and emotion all at once. And that is exactly how attraction often begins. Many men searching for answers about how to fall in love overlook these quiet signals. They wait for dramatic confessions, big compliments, or obvious flirting. But attraction usually reveals itself through small behaviors repeated consistently. Saying your name is one of them. It shows familiarity. It shows comfort. And sometimes it shows excitement. Think about your own life. When someone important walks into the room, you don't just greet the crowd. Your attention sharpens. You address them directly. That is the same principle at work here. These are the kinds of psychology tricks that quietly expose emotional investment. But here is the part many men misunderstand, and this is critical. Seeing the signal is only half the story. The other half is how you respond. Do not rush. Do not suddenly lean forward like you just discovered treasure. That reaction breaks the natural rhythm of attraction. Female psychology is highly sensitive to emotional pressure. The moment a man becomes overly eager, the balance shifts. Interest can fade quickly. That is why calm confidence is essential. When she greets you using your name, respond warmly but stay grounded. Smile. Acknowledge her. Continue the conversation naturally. Do not treat the moment like proof that she belongs to you now. That is not how attraction grows. A man who understands psychology tricks knows the power of restraint. Be steady. Be composed. Let her continue investing her attention. If she consistently greets you by name, remembers small details about you, or lights up when she sees you, those patterns matter. Attraction often builds through repeated signals, not one single event. And the smartest men observe patterns before they act. This is where many men fail when learning how to fall in love in a healthy way. They see one sign and immediately chase certainty. They ask too many questions. They demand clarity too soon. Do not do that. Attraction thrives in space, curiosity, and emotional balance. Be the man who stays relaxed in the moment. That energy is magnetic. In fact, many of the most effective psychology tricks are not tricks at all. They are simply behaviors rooted in emotional control and self-respect. When you show that you enjoy the interaction but do not depend on it, you create intrigue. When you stay calm instead of chasing validation, you become more attractive naturally. That is why your reaction matters as much as her signal. If she greets you with your name and a bright expression, appreciate it quietly. Respond with warmth. Then return to your purpose, your conversation, your life. That balance is powerful. Female psychology is deeply responsive to men who remain steady and self-assured. A man who appears centered signals security, maturity, and confidence without needing to announce it. Remember this simple truth: attraction grows strongest when it feels natural, not forced. If she keeps saying your name, greeting you with energy, and focusing her attention on you, those are strong signs worth noticing. But do not rush the story. Let time reveal the full picture. Observe the pattern. Stay calm. Stay confident. That is how real connection develops, and that is often the quiet beginning of how to fall in love in a way that feels effortless for both people. Now here is the part many men get wrong. They see this moment and immediately try to chase it. They rush over. They talk too fast. They try too hard to impress. Don't do that. Remember the principle. Don't chase the attention. Match the energy calmly. A high-value man understands timing. He lets the moment breathe. Sometimes the best move is simply walking over naturally when the moment feels right. Sometimes it is holding eye contact for a second longer and letting her be the one who approaches. Both options can work. What matters is the energy you bring. Be composed. Be confident. That calm presence is exactly what tends to attract women. Let's break down the psychology behind the delay and drop even deeper. Human attention operates like a spotlight. At any given moment, our brain highlights what matters most. When someone suddenly becomes the center of that spotlight, it means the brain has ranked them as significant in that environment. That is why the shift feels so noticeable. Her mind is literally reallocating attention, and attention always follows emotion. That means some emotional response has already occurred, even if it is subtle. Maybe she feels curious about you. Maybe she remembers a previous conversation. Maybe she simply finds your masculine energy appealing. Whatever the reason, your presence triggered the change. This is why social awareness matters. If you want to become the kind of man who naturally attracts women, you must learn to observe these tiny behavioral signals. Words can be polite. Words can be scripted. But body language is honest. The delay and drop is a perfect example of honest body language. It reveals priority before politeness has time to cover it up. Her body says, "Wait, that person matters." That is information you should never ignore. Another important point: the delay and drop often comes with eye contact that lasts just a bit longer than normal. Not staring, not awkward, just longer. Her eyes meet yours, and instead of immediately looking away, she stays there for a second. That extra second is powerful. It allows connection to begin forming silently. Attraction often starts in silence long before the first conversation begins. But again, Do not misinterpret the signal. Confidence means awareness, not assumption. Notice the sign. Appreciate it. Then behave like a grounded man. Continue your actions calmly. If you approach her, do it naturally. Speak clearly. Smile lightly. Be respectful. That balance between confidence and respect is what truly defines masculine energy. It is also what separates a high value man from someone who is constantly chasing approval. Think of masculine energy like gravity. It does not shout. It does not demand attention. Yet everything naturally moves toward it. When you carry yourself with calm confidence, when you speak slowly and listen well, when you are comfortable with silence, you create a presence that tends to attract women almost automatically. The delay and drop often appears around men who project that kind of steady energy. Here is another scenario to help you visualize it. Imagine a small social gathering, music playing softly, conversations scattered around the room. She is telling a story to a group of friends. Her hands move as she speaks. Everyone is engaged. Then you walk into the room. Suddenly, she pauses mid-sentence for a fraction of a second. Her eyes shift. She notices you. Then the story shortens. She finishes quickly. Why? Because her attention moved. Her brain is now balancing two priorities: the conversation she started and the person who just entered the room. That is the delay and drop happening again. A man who understands social dynamics will notice this shift immediately. But instead of reacting nervously, he remains composed. He might greet others first. He might take a moment to grab a drink. Why? Because patience increases intrigue. When you show that you are comfortable in your environment, you strengthen the impression of being a high-value man. And confidence like that tends to attract women far more effectively than constant pursuit. Let me emphasize something important here. Do not treat this knowledge like a trick or manipulation. This is not about controlling people. It is about understanding human behavior so you can respond with awareness. The goal is simple: become a better observer, a calmer presence, and a more grounded man. When those qualities grow in you, attraction begins to form naturally around you. Another subtle detail often appears during the delay and drop: posture adjustment. When she notices you, her body may shift slightly toward your direction. Her shoulders angle just a bit. Her feet reposition. These movements are often unconscious. They are tiny signals that her attention is physically aligning with where her interest is pointing. Body language researchers have talked about this phenomenon for years. People instinctively orient their bodies toward what they find engaging. So if you see the delay, then the drop, then the subtle body orientation toward you, pay attention. Those signals together create a powerful pattern. They suggest genuine interest rather than simple politeness. Now here is the discipline part. You must not become obsessed with reading signals. Stay balanced. Stay grounded. The purpose of learning these patterns is to increase awareness, not anxiety. Observe them calmly, then continue living your life confidently. That calm attitude reinforces masculine energy more than anything else. A high-value man does not need constant reassurance. He does not chase validation in every glance or smile. Instead, he moves through the world with quiet certainty. And ironically, that very certainty tends to attract women even more strongly. So remember the lesson. Watch for the delay and drop. Notice the moment when her attention shifts from everything else directly toward you. Understand what it means. It is not random. It is prioritization. It is curiosity. It is often the first silent sign that she sees something intriguing in you. But once you recognize it, do the most important thing of all: remain composed. Don't rush. Don't overreact. Be the calm center of the interaction. Speak clearly. Hold steady eye contact. Smile lightly. That is masculine energy in action. And when a man consistently carries that energy, when he is calm, attentive, and grounded, he naturally becomes the kind of presence that tends to attract women wherever he goes. That is the real psychology behind moments like the delay and drop. It is not magic. It is awareness, confidence, and the quiet strength of a high-value man who understands how human attention truly works. If you understand this signal, you stop guessing and you start seeing the truth right in front of you. A woman who pauses, drops what she's doing, and shifts her full attention to you is showing priority without saying a word. That moment matters. Don't overlook it. Recognize it. Respect it. And move with calm confidence like a true high value man. So, if you're the kind of man who notices the small signals most guys miss, drop this in the comments right now. I see the signs others ignore. Like the video, subscribe for more insights that help you attract women, strengthen your masculine energy, and step into the mindset of a true high value man. 3. The shift in her voice. Listen carefully, because this is one of those subtle signals that most men walk past every day without recognizing its power. Sign number 3 is the shift in her voice. Not her words, not what she says. Her voice. The tone, the softness, the rhythm hidden inside a simple greeting. When a woman greets you and her voice suddenly sounds lighter, slightly higher, almost warmer than usual, that is not random. That is emotion slipping through the smallest cracks of control. Many men miss this completely because they are too focused on what they want to say next instead of paying attention to what is happening right in front of them. But a man who trains his awareness, who develops what old Stoic wisdom would call an iron mind, he notices these shifts immediately. He listens not just with his ears, but with calm attention. And once you learn to hear this difference, you will never miss it again. Think about everyday life for a moment. A woman may greet 10 people in a day. Coworkers, friends, strangers at the coffee shop, the man standing in line at the store. Her voice remains neutral with most of them. Polite, flat, ordinary. Hi, hello, simple, routine, automatic. But then she sees you, and something changes. Suddenly, the greeting carries energy. Her tone softens. Sometimes it rises slightly. Sometimes it slows down. Sometimes there is a tiny warmth that was not present with anyone else. It may even sound a little musical. Not exaggerated. Not dramatic. Just different enough that if you are paying attention, you will feel it immediately. Research in social psychology has repeatedly shown that when a woman experiences attraction, her voice naturally shifts toward a softer, more melodic register during first contact. She does not plan it. She does not rehearse it. Her vocal cords react before her mind has time to filter the response. Emotion travels through the body faster than logic. That is why voice becomes such an honest signal. As the famous writer Maya Angelou once said, people will forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. And the voice is one of the fastest ways emotion reveals itself. Now here is where most men go wrong. They assume friendliness means nothing. They tell themselves, she's probably like that with everyone. So they ignore the signal. They dismiss the change in her voice as coincidence. But the truth is simpler. When emotion enters the body reacts. When attraction appears, the voice changes. Not dramatically, subtly, naturally, instinctively. This is why men who understand old Stoic wisdom train themselves to observe rather than react blindly. They do not chase signals. They recognize patterns. A man with an iron mind stays calm and attentive. He notices the difference between routine politeness and genuine warmth. And that difference often appears first in the voice. Imagine a simple scenario from modern life. You walk into the office on a normal morning. People are greeting each other. Quick hellos, casual nods, standard workplace energy. Then she notices you walking in. Suddenly her greeting changes. Hey you! The tone lifts slightly. The smile comes naturally. There is warmth in the sound. That moment may last only 2 seconds, but those 2 seconds reveal something real. Emotion is leaking through tone. That is the moment most men overlook because they are busy checking their phone, adjusting their jacket, or thinking about work. But the man who understands Stoicism win principles, the man who carries calm awareness, he notices the shift instantly. Not with arrogance, not with ego, simply with clarity. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. That same principle applies here. Do not obsess over whether every signal means attraction. That is not the point. The point is awareness. Calm observation. Emotional discipline. When you develop this mindset, you begin to see patterns others miss. You begin to hear signals others ignore. And suddenly the social world becomes much clearer. The shift in her voice is not just about attraction. It is about emotional response. When someone feels comfortable around you, their tone relaxes. When someone feels excited to see you, their voice brightens. When someone feels drawn to your presence, their greeting carries energy that cannot be faked easily. That is human nature. That is psychology. And that is exactly why developing an iron mind matters. Because emotional intelligence is not about manipulating people. It is about understanding signals without losing your balance. Many men today struggle in modern dating because they react too quickly. They chase too fast. They assume too much. Or they doubt themselves constantly. But Stoic thinking teaches something different. Observe first. Understand patterns. Stay calm. Let reality reveal itself. A woman's voice often tells the story long before her words do. Think about the difference between two greetings. With most people, she says, hi, quick, neutral, automatic. But with you, the greeting becomes hey, slightly longer, slightly warmer, slightly more playful. That small stretch of sound may seem meaningless, but it often reflects emotional engagement. Her brain recognizes you, and her body responds before she can consciously control the tone. Attraction works like that: fast, instinctive, subtle. And once you start paying attention, you begin to notice the pattern again and again. The philosopher Epictetus once said, "We have two ears and one mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." That line captures the exact lesson here. Listen more, speak less, observe the signals around you. The shift in her voice is not something you force. It is something you notice. That awareness alone places you ahead of most men who move through life on autopilot. Now here is an important point. Do not overreact when you notice it. Do not suddenly change your behavior or start acting nervous. That would destroy the natural energy of the moment. Instead, remain grounded, calm, relaxed. This is where Stoicism win becomes practical. A man with an iron mind stays steady whether the signal is positive or neutral. He does not chase validation. He does not become desperate for approval. He simply recognizes what is happening and continues being himself. That calm confidence is incredibly powerful. In fact, it is often the reason the voice changed in the first place. Because emotional attraction frequently appears when a woman senses stability, calm presence, quiet strength, not loud confidence, not arrogance, stability. That is the power behind old Stoic wisdom. It teaches men to master their reactions before trying to master the world. And when you apply that mindset in social situations, you become much more aware of subtle emotional signals. The shift in her voice becomes one of the clearest indicators because sound carries emotion more honestly than words. Words can be chosen carefully. Tone is harder to hide. Another example from everyday life. Imagine running into her unexpectedly at the grocery store or gym. She sees you across the room. Her greeting arrives before her brain finishes processing the situation. Oh, hey, notice the lift in energy. Notice the brightness. That is emotional recognition. That is her nervous system reacting to your presence. Not planned, not calculated, just natural. And when that reaction appears consistently, the pattern becomes impossible to ignore. This is why men who develop strong awareness through Stoicism win principles often appear more socially confident. They are not guessing. They are observing. They are not forcing interactions. They are responding to signals that already exist. The world begins to make more sense when you slow down enough to notice what others rush past. Another important detail: the shift in her voice often happens only in the first moment of contact. That greeting moment is powerful because it is unfiltered. Later in the conversation, she may regain control of her tone. She may become more neutral again. But the first greeting, those first 2 seconds, often reveal the honest reaction. That is why attention matters so much. The greeting is a window into emotion. If you miss it, the signal disappears quickly. But if you catch it, you begin to understand the dynamic between you much more clearly. And remember this: Awareness is not about ego. It is about clarity. A man with an iron mind does not inflate small signals into big fantasies. He simply acknowledges them, calmly, rationally. Then he continues living his life with purpose. As the philosopher Seneca said, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. The same applies here. Preparation means sharpening your awareness. Opportunity appears in subtle human signals, like a shift in someone's voice when they greet you. When those two elements meet, you move through life with quiet confidence. You stop second-guessing yourself constantly. You stop missing opportunities hidden in plain sight. Modern life moves fast. Conversations are quick. Attention spans are short. Most people rush through social interactions without truly noticing each other. But the man who studies old Stoic wisdom learns a different rhythm: slow observation, clear thinking, emotional discipline. These qualities form the foundation of Stoicism win. And they also make you far more perceptive in relationships. The shift in her voice becomes obvious once you train your attention. It becomes one of the easiest signals to recognize. And when you hear it, you realize something powerful. Attraction often reveals itself long before anyone says it out loud. So here is the practical advice. The next time a woman greets you, listen carefully. Do not interrupt the moment with nervous talking. Simply notice the tone. Is it warmer than usual? Slightly softer? Slightly brighter? Does it sound different from the way she greeted the person before you? If the answer is yes, that difference is rarely random. Emotion is speaking through sound. And once you train your awareness through Stoicism win thinking, you will recognize these signals with remarkable clarity. That is the advantage of an iron mind. Calm awareness, clear perception, emotional discipline. The modern world rewards men who move with quiet understanding rather than constant reaction. And when you combine that mindset with careful observation, you begin to see attraction where others see nothing. The shift in her voice is small, subtle, easy to overlook. But for the man who listens carefully, it speaks volumes. 4. Physical closeness during the greeting. Physical closeness during the greeting is one of the most overlooked signals in female behavior, and yet it reveals more about female psychology than most men realize, because distance is never random when emotions are involved. Pay attention to the space between you and her when she first acknowledges you. Not the words, not the polite smile, the distance. That is where the truth hides. Ask yourself a simple question. Does she step a little closer than she needs to? Does she move into your space in a way that feels natural but slightly more intimate than the situation requires? A casual greeting could easily happen from a few feet away, yet some women close that distance without thinking. She may lightly touch your arm. She may lean in just a little when she says hello. She may step close enough that the moment suddenly feels warmer, more personal, more alive. Do not dismiss this. Women are extremely aware of personal space. In fact, one of the most basic elements of female psychology is the silent management of distance. Most women keep a comfortable barrier between themselves and people they do not feel emotionally connected to. They greet politely, smile briefly, and maintain that invisible boundary. But when a woman feels drawn to you, the rules of space quietly change. She steps closer without announcing it. She allows contact that would normally feel unnecessary. And this is where many men miss the signal because they assume the moment is accidental. It is rarely accidental. Attraction often speaks through the body long before it appears in words. As the famous psychologist William James once said, "We don't laugh because we're happy because we laugh." The body leads. The emotions follow. And in the world of attraction, the body often reveals what the mind has not yet admitted. When a woman greets you and naturally moves closer, something important is happening beneath the surface. Her subconscious is signaling comfort. Her instincts are allowing proximity. And proximity is the beginning of connection. This is one of those subtle psychology tricks that quietly reveals how attraction develops in real life. The mind can hide feelings. The body rarely does. That is why you must train yourself to notice the small movements. Notice if she angles her body toward you instead of away from you. Notice if she lingers just a second longer in that space. Notice if the touch happens naturally, perhaps when she laughs or emphasizes a point. These moments are not dramatic. They're not loud, but they're deeply meaningful signals in female psychology. Many men sabotage these moments because they overthink them. They step back too quickly. They act awkward. They assume the closeness is meaningless. Don't do that. Be calm. Be present. Stay grounded in your energy. One of the most powerful psychology tricks when interacting with women is learning to remain relaxed in moments of subtle intimacy. If she steps closer, don't panic and retreat like you touched a hot stove. That sends the wrong message. Instead, stay steady. Maintain eye contact. Smile naturally. Let the moment exist without forcing it. Attraction grows in spaces where two people feel comfortable sharing proximity. That comfort is the soil where interest begins to grow. Think about how human connection works in everyday life. When you feel uneasy around someone, what do you instinctively do? You create distance. You step back. You keep conversations short. You avoid unnecessary contact. But when you enjoy someone's presence, you do the opposite. You lean in. You stay close. You extend the interaction. Women operate with the same instincts, often even more strongly because they are highly sensitive to emotional safety and comfort. So when she chooses to close that distance during a greeting, her body is telling you something simple but powerful. Being near you feels good. That is not something you can fake easily. It happens naturally when attraction begins forming beneath the surface. This is why understanding female psychology is so important for men who want to build real connection. Many men look for loud signs of interest. They expect obvious flirting, dramatic compliments, or bold confessions. Real attraction rarely starts that way. It starts with small signals: a closer step, a light touch, a warm lean-in during a greeting. These are the quiet psychology tricks of human interaction that reveal emotional interest long before it becomes obvious. If you want to understand how to fall in love in a healthy and natural way, you must first learn to notice how attraction grows through these subtle behaviors. Love rarely begins with fireworks. It begins with comfort, with familiarity, with moments where two people feel naturally drawn closer without forcing it. The greeting moment is often the very first stage of that process. It is a small doorway into connection, and how you respond matters. Don't rush the moment. Don't turn it into a performance. Simply acknowledge the closeness with calm confidence. When a woman senses that you are comfortable in that space, her comfort increases too. That is the quiet dance of attraction. One person leans slightly forward. The other holds steady. The emotional atmosphere warms. The interaction deepens. Over time, these small moments accumulate and build a foundation for stronger connection. This is why men who understand these psychology tricks often appear naturally charismatic. They are not manipulating anyone. They are simply aware of the silent signals happening around them. They notice the step closer. They notice the touch on the arm. They notice the shift in body orientation. And instead of reacting with confusion, they respond with calm presence. That presence is powerful. It communicates confidence without saying a word. And confidence is one of the most attractive qualities a man can project. When you stay grounded in these moments, you create a sense of emotional safety that women deeply appreciate. That safety allows attraction to grow naturally. Now, here is an important point. Do not misinterpret physical closeness as a guarantee of romantic interest. Human behavior is complex. Context matters. Personality matters. But repeated closeness during greetings, especially when combined with eye contact, warm tone, and relaxed body language, often signals a deeper level of comfort and attraction. Patterns matter more than isolated moments. When you begin seeing the same signals appear again and again, that is when the picture becomes clear. Understanding this pattern is part of mastering female psychology and recognizing the early stages of emotional bonding. Another interesting aspect of this behavior is how subconscious it usually is. Many women are not consciously deciding to move closer to you. Their bodies simply respond to the feeling of connection. This is why body language is often more honest than words. Words can be polite. Words can be filtered. Body language tends to be instinctive, and proximity is one of the most powerful forms of body language humans use. In fact, social psychologists have studied this phenomenon for decades. People consistently move closer to individuals they feel emotionally comfortable with, while maintaining distance from those they feel uncertain about. This simple principle appears in friendships, family relationships, and romantic attraction. It is part of how humans naturally navigate social space. Understanding this principle can dramatically change the way you read interactions. Instead of guessing, you start observing. Instead of forcing conversations, you start noticing energy. And this awareness gives you a powerful advantage in building authentic relationships. Because when you understand the signals of female psychology, you stop chasing validation and start responding to real interest. This also connects deeply to the process of how to fall in love in a healthy way. Real love grows from mutual comfort and emotional openness. Physical proximity is one of the earliest indicators that such openness might exist. It shows that someone feels safe enough to enter your personal space. It shows trust, even if that trust is still forming. And trust is always the first brick in the foundation of love. So the next time a woman greets you, don't focus only on what she says. Focus on how she positions herself around you. Does she stay at a safe distance like she would with a stranger? Or does she step just a little closer than necessary? Does her body lean toward you when she laughs? Does her hand briefly rest on your arm as she speaks? These moments are subtle, but they are powerful signals in the language of female psychology. And recognizing them is one of the simplest yet most effective psychology tricks you can learn when it comes to understanding attraction. Remember this: attraction is rarely loud at the beginning. It whispers. It appears in body language. It reveals itself in small gestures that happen almost unconsciously. The man who learns to see these signals gains clarity where others remain confused. He stops guessing. He stops overanalyzing every word. Instead, he reads the emotional atmosphere of the interaction. That awareness transforms the way you connect with women because you begin responding to genuine interest rather than chasing imagined signals. And when you approach relationships with that level of calm observation, you naturally move closer to understanding how to fall in love in a way that is real, balanced, and deeply fulfilling. If this opened your eyes, take a second and hit like. These small moments matter more than you think. A woman who steps closer than necessary is revealing comfort, curiosity, and a quiet desire to connect. Don't ignore it. Notice it. Understand it. That is how a man reads the room with confidence. Subscribe for more insights that help you understand attraction and human psychology on a deeper level. And drop this line in the comments to lock the lesson into your mind. Closeness reveals what words don't say. 5. Lingering eye contact. Sign number 5 is the lingering eye contact after the greeting seems over. She says, "Hi." You respond, and technically the moment should end there. In normal social interaction, greetings are quick and efficient. People exchange a few words, nod politely, and move on. But sometimes something different happens. The words end, yet her eyes remain on you for one extra second, maybe two. It is a tiny pause, but it feels longer than it should, almost like she is quietly holding the moment in place. Polite greetings finish quickly. Interested ones stretch just a little before finally looking away. That is the detail many men overlook. Eye contact is one of the hardest signals to fake because it comes from instinct rather than strategy. When someone keeps their gaze on you after the conversation should already be finished, it usually means their attention is not done with you yet. Do not ignore that. Do not rush away from it either. Bikel. M. Hold your presence. A high-value man understands that confidence is often communicated through stillness. You do not need dramatic words or exaggerated behavior. Simply remain relaxed and return the eye contact naturally. That calm response expresses quiet masculine energy, and that kind of grounded presence is exactly what helps men attract women. Think about everyday life. People are busy, distracted, looking at their phones, rushing from one task to another. Attention has become rare and valuable. So when a woman gives you a few extra seconds of focused attention, it means you stand out in that moment. Her brain has decided, even subconsciously, that you are more interesting than whatever else is happening around her. That is not something to chase aggressively. It is something to notice with awareness. A high value man observes signals instead of forcing outcomes. He reads the situation calmly and continues the interaction with confidence. When your attitude is steady and your masculine energy is balanced, attraction becomes a natural exchange rather than a performance. Many men believe they must impress women with big gestures or clever lines, but the truth is simpler. Attraction often lives in small moments like this. A greeting that lasts a little longer, a smile that lingers, a gaze that stays for an extra second before finally looking away. Those quiet details reveal curiosity, comfort, and sometimes genuine interest. When you carry yourself with the relaxed confidence of a high value man, these moments happen more often because people feel at ease in your presence. And when a woman feels comfortable, her real interest shows itself through natural behaviors like lingering eye contact. So the next time a greeting ends, but her eyes stay on you just a little longer than expected, notice it. Stay calm. Stay present. Respond with quiet confidence. Because sometimes the clearest signs that you can attract women are not loud or dramatic. They appear silently in a gaze that lingers just long enough to say more than words ever could. Hey, my friend, I'm really glad you stayed with me until the end of this video. Here's the simple truth. When a woman greets you in these small but meaningful ways, don't rush. Don't overreact. And don't suddenly start trying to impress her. That is where many men lose their natural confidence. Instead, stay calm. Stay steady. Match her energy, but never chase it. A man who knows his value doesn't beg for attention. He focuses on his path, his purpose, and his growth. When you build a life that excites you, her greetings become something nice, but never something you depend on. And that quiet confidence changes everything. The moment she realizes you are not desperate for approval, the dynamic shifts. Now you are the man she keeps thinking about. So here is my sincere advice to you. Keep moving forward in your life. Improve yourself. Stay grounded. Let people show their interest through their actions, not through forced conversations. The right woman will make it clear. Take care of yourself, my friend. Stay calm, stay focused, and keep becoming the man you are meant to be. I'll see you in the next video.